A season, a reason, a lifetime. I've always loved that proverb, the way it hints at how people enter our lives with their own timing, their own purpose. But I never thought heartbreak counted, or disappointment, or rejection. I didn't see those as part of the reason, but they are. They always are. Because underneath every ache, there's a message, a pattern, a bruise that didn't start with the person who touched it, but with the wound that was already there. And most of those wounds, yeah, childhood has a lot to answer for. Lately, something's been shifting in me. I'm seeing discomfort differently. What used to feel like breakdowns, same ache, same bruise, different face, same story. I thought all of that meant I was unlovable, too much, not enough, the common denominator in every room. But then I learned about mother wounds, father wounds, and at first I thought, great, another way to blame parents. But no, it's not about blame. It's about inheritance, the emotional kind, the kind nobody talked about at the dinner table, especially men. Feelings were weakness, silence was strength, and we all learned to tune out instead of tuning in. Therapists exist, thank God, but even then, awareness doesn't arrive on a schedule. It comes when you're ready, when you've lived enough life to finally hear yourself. Before I dug deeper, I lived on the surface, convinced I was the problem, convinced every failed relationship was proof of my flaws. I didn't know I was being shown my patterns through how someone else showed up to me. I only saw their behavior, not my wound reacting to it. Awareness isn't gifted at birth, it's earned, slowly. And when you don't have awareness, or language, or willingness, that energy doesn't disappear. It buries itself, layer after layer of denial, ignorance, and I'm fine. When you're in relationship, family, friend, lover, whoever, mirroring happens, projection happens, reflection happens. I didn't know those words. All I knew was that I didn't like people very much. After my divorce, I stayed to myself, raised my son, survived instability, and let's be real, society doesn't exactly romanticize the broke single mom archetype. But now I see it, that isolation was protection, preparation, a cocoon disguised as struggle. Had I been anywhere else, with anyone else, I wouldn't have learned what I'm learning now. It wasn't pretty. I've been judged, ridiculed, dismissed, but I trust this path, even when I don't know where it's going. We wrap life in a pretty box of how it should look, but we're spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. And not every person is a soulmate, but more people are spiritual encounters than we realize. Not because it's all about me, but because every interaction is a chance to see myself from a higher perspective instead of spiraling in the same old story. That's what a mirror really is. Not the social media version, not you're lazy so I must be lazy too. No, a mirror doesn't create the reflection. It reveals what's already there. Sometimes it shows your wound, sometimes your fear, sometimes your longing, sometimes your growth. I always knew people came into my life for reasons, but I thought the reason was companionship. I didn't know the reason was revelation. I didn't know the pain was speaking. I didn't know the ache was a teacher. When I said I didn't like people, what I meant was I didn't like the version of me that kept showing up in front of them. Because the universe doesn't respond to your words or your wishes. It responds to your frequency. Tesla said if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And the more aware I become, the more I see how true that is, especially in relationships. Being alone feels like having your shit together. Being in a relationship, that's where the mask gets ripped off. And it's more uncomfortable than any naked in public dream your subconscious could ever conjure. Growing up, I tried to be anyone but me. Now, authenticity is the only thing I'm interested in. And opening myself to someone else's orbit showed me patterns I didn't know I still carried. They didn't show up all at once. They opened slowly. But what used to feel like disappointment, inconsistency, half-in energy, I navigate differently now. Because I'm not walking away from people. I'm walking away from patterns. I'm choosing myself. And yes, that hurts too. Choosing yourself always comes with an ache. Stepping away doesn't mean you don't feel sadness or grief or loss. Of course you do. I do. But I'm choosing to grow for me, for my son, for the woman I'm becoming. Healing trauma doesn't make you perfect. It just makes you aware. And once you're aware, you can't pretend you didn't see yourself. People enter our lives carrying invisible mirrors, messages we don't recognize until we're ready. And once you see yourself, truly see yourself, the question becomes, what now? Evolve or stay exactly where you are? But you can't unsee the truth. And time, my darlings, is precious. Use it wisely.